one more thing. Before they take over, because you know it's going to be a long time before I say anything else. A friend of mine named Kenneth Lawrence, who works at Sonny's Bank, shout out to Sonny's Bank, gave me a list of people to call. And he says, call this lady named Judy. Judy, she's a good one.
Taibi with a T.
Taibi with a T. And I called everybody on the list, and I called Judy, and we bonded from like day one. And we went to a lot of events together, and I sat in a couple of her events, and it's been a joy not just to have her as a friend, but the knowledge that she possessed that you get ready to find out. It's a blessing all the way around. Her heart is in a good place, so from there I might be quiet for a while because they're gonna take it off. So Shauna, do your thing.
I feel the same way. It's been a real blessing. So the feeling is definitely mutual.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure thing.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, what exactly Dwayne was referring to.
Well, I've been in sales for my adult life. Sometimes it feels like it goes back to the day the earth cooled. It's a long time. I used to be in sales on Wall Street, selling to institutional accounts, foundations, endowments, Taft-Hartley, labor funds, their pension accounts. And frankly, after doing that for a while, and Wall Street can be a challenging environment, for a lot of people, particularly for women when I started out. I said, you know what, if I work as hard for myself as I have for everybody else, I used to be on the road 6 days a week. It doesn't give you a lot of time for your own personal life. So if I start a business for myself, I should be able to make a go of it. And I took about a year and a half looking around different business concepts, and I decided to join Sandler Training. It's an international franchise, as we were talking earlier. We're in 33 countries. Our materials are translated into 15 different languages. And really what we do is to give people the skills to be able to sell more effectively, efficiently, and consistently so that they improve their revenue stream. We also work with a lot of non-for-profits because they're looking for donations. So anybody who is responsible directly or even indirectly for bringing in sales and new business, new clients, we work with them to tee up their skills. So these are successful people. It's not like they're ready to close their doors. And we help them with different methods, strategies, and techniques so they can just up their game. It's basically that simple.
So do you find that most of your clients are early in their business or later in their business, or how does that work?
That's a great question. We work with young people, younger adults who are just getting into sales. And sales is simple, but it's not easy. And if you don't have the right game plan, like anything, you're going to flounder. So we work with new people who are a couple of years in sales, and they're just not hitting their stride. We also work with more experienced sales professionals who are doing well, but they kind of need to get re-energized a little bit. They have to see, that excitement that they had early on in their careers can be recaptured to take them even to higher levels of success. So it's very exciting. And when you're in a classroom where we do training, we can do consulting, coaching, or training. But Dwayne's been in some of my workshops, and you have young people and more mature people. You would think that there would be two different groups, but the synergy is so rewarding because they help each other.
Right.
And a new person will have a perspective that someone's been doing it for a while, and they're kind of like in their groove, doesn't see, and the more experienced person can help the younger person. So it's a really nice chemistry, and that's what really gets me charged up.
I get a question? Okay.
You only get the one, so hurry.
Okay, all right.
I'm kidding.
When I initially came to her class, I thought, I'm a nonprofit, I'm into fitness. How can sales work with me? I don't really sell things because I'm doing a physical training. But going to your class, it showed how something in my field worked with sales. So can you explain to people that might say, well, I'm not in sales. Everyone is in sales. Right. So you can explain to them how it differs from the business that's really selling things to something like what I'm doing and others?
Thanks, that's a great question. We all, as you said, we all are selling our ideas, our services, our products. You're selling people the ability to take control over the wellness and the health and fitness. And selling is really just having a conversation. It's not like in the old days, you would have a product and you would say, these are the features, these are the benefits. Because guess what? Nobody cares about that anymore. You can go online, you can do a digital search. I know everything about your services and all your competitors. How do you differentiate what you're trying to offer as a solution from other people? And that's where we are kind of different. We're non-traditional in selling how we present, how you need to present yourself, because we want people buy emotionally and then intellectually they justify their decision. So it's really about communication. And there's an old quote by a famous English playwright, George Bernard Shaw. He said that the biggest problem with communication is assuming it's taken place. And it's even worse today, because with all of our devices, our electronic, texting, instant messaging, people don't really speak to each other. Humans are not connecting with each other less and less, which I think is pretty dangerous for society. I think you see that in what's going on with the lack of civility, kids going, not only kids, everybody, rudeness, lack of connection with another person. So we teach communication skills to really be able to engage with a prospect or a client or a member of a gym to find out really what their underlying motivator is to do business with you or to become a member of your gym or to donate to your mission, because that's where you really make the connection.
And that was one of the points that was made on the Sandler training website. There was a statement that said, trying to get people to understand why they're buying a product, not that they need this product.
Exactly. I mean, the whole thing is, how do you distinguish yourself? It's not by what you sell, it's by how you sell. And it's far more effective. And you know what? It's better for your prospect too, because there's clarity and there's transparency.
So what are some of the common, we were talking earlier and I said I don't want to use the word mistake, but what are some of the common areas of improvement that you find? Are there common areas of improvement when people engage Sandler?
Most people have no process.
Oh, okay.
No process at all. If you have 10 salespeople working for you, it's like the Wild West. 10 different people doing 10 different ways, and each of them don't consistently go after new business. So it's really hard to measure your results. It's hard to measure the activities that you're doing because they're so the behaviors are very random. So you don't really know what to focus on. So we work with people to have a very systematic, defined process that's easy to implement and is consistent. And then we teach them the kinds of techniques, the strategies, the behaviors. But to get to your question, what are the common struggles that people have? They don't know how to, we spoke about this earlier, they don't know how to qualify stringently. They'll get led along, and the killer for anyone in sales is that you waste time with someone who never does a transaction. And people are nice. They don't want to tell you, listen, Judy, nice, I think I could use it, but not now. I'm not going to do it. They'll meet you for another meeting, a cup of coffee, and they just want, so you want to get to the no quickly. So stringently qualifying so that you can close easily. And with that comes how to get past stalls, objections, find out if you can really work for someone to do a real solution if you can. Tell them you can. Have equal business stature, because a lot of people feel, well, if I'm going in to present an idea or a product to you, you have the money, so you're up here, and I'm just here. No, we're both adults, we're both professionals. You may have a situation that I can help improve, so we're at the same level, and you have to be able to maintain that. Selling is a tough game. You have to have your mind in the right place, so how do you be able to not have those emotional ups and downs? You get a big deal, you lose a big deal, it's a roller coaster. How to level that out? Personally, in my training, I ask people, I'll just put this out here. If you were on a desert island by yourself, and you didn't have any roles, you weren't a spouse, a mother, a brother, whatever, how would you rate yourself? from 1 to 10. So just, I think you went through this, right? So how would you rate yourself?
On what?
As a human being.
As a human
Just
being?
as a human
Just
being.
me by myself on an
You're
island?
on an island, plain you and good God, and no one knows you because there's nobody there. How would you rate yourself
I
as a
would rate
person?
myself an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Alrighty. Twain?
I'll be a 10.
You'd be a 10?
I'll be a 10.
Yeah.
Because I'm surviving, I'm living, I'm there. You know, even though I'm the only one there, I'm making it. You know, so I think you have to think higher yourself, because if you're any lower, you might as well just dig a ditch and just bury yourself on the island.
Well, I think I picked 8 because if I'm by myself, I don't have anything to measure it against. Like, I think I'm okay, but maybe there's something about me that if somebody else were there.
But see, you think about somebody else.
But that's who I am. I think about other people.
So that's why you're an 8.
Okay, so a lot of people will say 6, or, you know, it's all over. Very few people say 10. 8's a high number for most people. It should be a 10.
It should be a 10.
You know what? Well, I'm not telling you what it should be, but let me tell you, when people think it's a 10, it's because they realize that their roles in life are not who they are, their true core identity. So I'll say in class, you know, I have a deep belief in God, in Jesus Christ. We are all children of the Most High God. We're born at 10 and we die at 10. That's who we are. And we don't need to worry about what someone thinks about us, or if we fail in our role, if we get divorced, if our kids end up in prison or whatever. Those are things in our roles, but it doesn't affect who we are at our soul level, at our core competency. And people need this, you know, where we are in the world today, you don't get that message a lot, right? So when you're able to get up and go out into business or go out into non-for-profit and do your mission, it helps a lot when you're able to just get in touch with that. Because there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of struggles out there, and you have to stay strong in who you are. So that's one of the things, the psychology of selling. And I guess another issue that I see oftentimes is that people don't know, some people are not comfortable talking about money. In fact, I don't take everybody into my training, because if I don't resonate with them or they don't resonate with me, it's not going to be a good fit. I interviewed a young guy who was in the money management industry. He's a financial advisor. And in our conversation, he said he doesn't like money. He invests people's money to make money. And he doesn't like money. When we started talking about it, well, money, you know, people can control people and people try to get over on each other. I said, that's how people react. Money is really just energy. It's a form of exchange. And you have to realize that. Otherwise, it's kind of like a disconnect. But a lot of people feel uncomfortable with money. And they don't know how to ask, how much money do you have for this? You know, and people, that's the one thing, they don't want to give you a right answer. You know, they don't want to tell you they can spend $1,000 or they can spend $100,000. So how are you able to get to that? Because that's part of the decision, whether that person will or will not work with you. Who's the decision maker? Everyone says, oh, I make the decision. Judy, I make the decision. Then you find out that after they make the decision, they're going to have to bill it to their boss, and then to their boss's boss. So how do you really get to that? So the thing doesn't grind through, because time kills deals. If you're going to do business, let's find out what the necessary components are, why you're going to do business with me, and move forward. Because if you just want to procrastinate, I think you need to take your time and your resources to move to somebody that you can help and wants to help. Like with fitness,
right,
or with your mission. You know, a lot of people talk the talk, but are they willing to step forward?
Exactly. You know, back to the 8 island, you know, the reason that I chose 8 also was because I felt like I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and God wouldn't make a 5. Like, He didn't make a 5, right? But the 2 missing, the space I left at 10 was because of the lack of being able to define a role. That was why.
That's interesting.
It was like, I can't tell you that I'm a 10 because I don't know how I am as a daughter or as a mother or as a sister, because there's nobody but me.
Right.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so that gives you kind of,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with 8, but, when you start to think about why you chose any number, it's kind of self-reflective.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting exercise.
Definitely.
Jamisa, what's your number?
I was gonna say a 10.
Good for you, sweetheart.
Yeah, see.
So what else would you like us to know about Sandler training and the services that you provide?
First of all, a lot of people will say, sales training. First of all, most people don't know what sales training is. They have a misrepresentation, at least when working with us, that they have to start over from scratch. We're doing okay, we could do better, but you're gonna come in and you wanna change everything. No. If you're in business, you're already successful. So we're not trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. In life, any part of life, business, personal, people will have goals, right? What happens at the end of the day? Everybody has a list, New Year's Eve list of the things that they want to accomplish in the next 12 months. How often do they achieve half of them? 25%, very rarely. It's not that people don't have solid, lofty goals, they have no process to reach those goals. I may want to lose 20 pounds. Well, how am I going to do that? I have to have a game plan. How many times am I going to work out? What is the day? What is the time? How long? I'm going to not eat candy at 11 o'clock. I have to have a game plan. So we teach people how to establish goals and put a game plan and activities and process behind it so they have a high probability of reteaching those goals. And also, again, little changes that are consistently implemented are what have massive results. A little recalibration, a little bit of a different pivot, and I'll leave you with a great story that I love. In 2003, the British cycling team was dead last for 100 years. Not just a year, 10 years, 100 years. They were so bad that the biggest European bike manufacturer who made bikes, biking equipment, wanted to sell to these guys. Because they didn't want their brand to be associated with these losers. So they said, look, this is so embarrassing. We have to do something for God and country. We can't keep, this is just too humiliating. So they brought in a new coach who was known for small incremental changes. He only wanted to see 1% improvement, maybe 5 or 6 different areas. They said, God, we need more than just a 1% improvement. They said, trust us, this guy can get it done. And in 2003, he came in and he changed the amount of air in the bikes. He changed the tilt of the bike seat so that it would be more comfortable to ride over long distances. He changed the fabric in their uniforms so that the muscles would be able to reach a higher temperature more quickly and be more productive in cycling. And maybe 1 or 2 other little things. From 2003, in 2010, they had won 100 world championships. They never won a Tour de France. They had won 5 of them. They won 6 gold Olympic medals. Never won a gold before. How did they do it? Small, incremental changes, consistently implemented.
Wow.
Huge difference. And that's what we can do in our own lives.
I have one more question before we wrap up. It feels like this is information that needs to get inside of people when they're 12, 13, 14 years old. Does Sandler offer anything like that, workshops?
We actually do. We have a workshop for high school.
Okay.
It's like a leadership workshop. I think it's great. But you have to be around 16.
Yeah.
Younger than that, you don't really get it. And we teach young people how to ask questions. Because in school, what are we taught? How to answer questions. We teach you how to ask open-ended questions You get more information. The more information you have, the better decision you can make so that you can address whatever the situation is. Because we all, what do? Everybody falls to this. People listen in order to respond.
Yeah.
They don't listen to understand. And that's something we really need to teach our youth.
Well, that's one of the good things about this program is that you have to listen and you can't just wait because, Dwayne always teases me because I have questions prepared. I have questions for an outline, but my questions are based on what our guest says. So I can't just go down my list of questions because it could not relate to anything that you've said. You are going to say something to me that's going to make me want to ask you a totally different question. So that's just, and I'm so glad that you have the youth program. And I don't know if Sandler needs volunteers or anything, but I do.
Well, we can pick this conversation up after the show.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's exciting
Yes.
to say.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
It was
much.
such a pleasure
I feel
talking.
I
blessed.
told y'all, didn't I tell you? But I hope everyone got something out of it because this is a remarkable woman. So, this is great.
And that's my alarm saying that it's time for us to say goodnight. We want to ask you to stay tuned at home for the Congo hour. They'll be right up.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, stay home.
And speak to me if y'all see me out in the street.
Yeah, please.
It don't bother me,
His
but
little feelings are just crushed.
Yeah, my man feeling.
Just crushed. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless. See you next time.